me dem bra panyin no ntitam bia kapa na me frɛ no youth commander na sabra no mo preso before 2016 MPP ebeji to me no ka who born dog sa nsemhunu a NDC mabunu yabo mo pa mu di ka who born dog kometimi akoho but ukasa ukan bibria na ye say obi be ka say na djuma a wo ye no na sebe o pese o de bafom ba no kra ba ko pe part na emre leadership no nsori member wa MPP mu Atumpan honorable good evening
Bonohene
bibi aboko de
amanfo yen kase ho ye
o honya craft tintina chen
amanfo yen kase ho ye nti ho ye kra se o kase ho ye but ne fair de woman say divine selection akan
of course
yankopon da Roma senda bodwem en sadansa yetimi share ide metimi akase me ho ye so no production team so me humu ana me ni
aje obi ahoye yeah that's so right Sunday me hu some pictures be in the videos be e wo mountain so wa so me frɛ o no din komo wo so kosra wo nua ba Hawakum sen woni Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia MPP for Damase e wa no muntu amutu
na mo frɛ na me na na etika me na me si gina so kwa na nka so am say phone wo call off
na no what to say Hawakum sen what to say yes that you feel
ne di kan ma me ncha weti for amane ne amamre kwan so no ese me so me chia obi bia oti AsaasePa ene mo group ene mo stations across the country na me chia na NPP ko so me chia pa chia bebre omunti ene wo eku efre no NPP
yeah
na bosha ibetimi a share is that this two sharpers
okay we should be trim
when you're having a bad time know that this two sharpers when you're having a worst time know that this two sharpers
okay
even when you're having a good time know that good time sharpers
okay
na Dr. Bawumia hoye say enrano yesimu anopa wi many ono ne the Honorable Oseche Mensa Bonsu.
Okay.
The celebrated leader emeritus, with the minority leader paying, with the majority leader paying, with the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. Many on many about Kosia men, former parliamentary candidate for Atumpan Constituency. You know, also sign especially to Dr. Bawumia as well. Into Yemiensa and Yaka Yera Bawumia, Yakosha, Hawakum sin first, Yamame Hawakum sin. More than Krana Ukrem. We nipa no matter how strong are we no o nipa 30 a eba oba besia ba kope so sabe Samson kra no a to say ohun beka she was in deep pain but she's hopeful na NPP ntini akoto share no I hope say unisa enye say no wakọ concert bi ana say wakọ retreat ana crusade bi NPP hodo honye ne constituency. The love for party and determination to stand by a party.
Okay.
And Nuntina obey a target for these NDC boys. Na maka simbi se near NDC mrante na ye to trust him no. Omo party mpenifoni abane share. Na ne yese to ne yede to. Anya sa NPP ba ben ma yerinfi. Because crime wo we enti say ideal milk. And Milo in the expiry date. So no matter how long the night is, if they fail to prosecute them, the MPP government will prosecute them. Nearby. We need justice for Ablekuma, not victims.
Inshallah.
Tiene Yamame Hawakum in Kotnas, Dr. Bawumia Kosrano, Echichenere, Sans was sure no say Omobreno and Yakwa. If you're near to us, Ablekuma North. Okosra mami free no san kosra party phone bia no mo aka e bia no my polling station executives e bo so me normal party supporters almost so makukudro ene abrani omugina ye e mo ho kan wa Ablekuma North ye insensem we course if you no kosra ye nua bema Chris Lloyd or ye deputy national organizer corner also and sana na nyumrem when them say na enu mpia ma media But they are young social media activists. They are almost texting in the name of the party, almost posting in the name of the party. Almost ye nipa be 1,000. Almost Dr. Bawumia ye Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Now Dr. Bawumia wanted to use the opportunity to extend a hand of friendship, a hand of thank you. Say Abrani Omojinama party, from the north to the south, from the west to the east. Ne say na mo amoderu amoboi, say no mo so je ho bi encourage party for. Na sa young social media activists, amu church or my party defend the party on the social media, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, nene keka on. Yesterday, Dr. Bawumia spent about 1 hour with them on Zoom. That was from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. We in Nigeria, Osako joining Manti and Ibi so share ball. War a ANC more. So that was how the day was yesterday.
Right. Yeah, that was a part. But me and Ablekuma North to be you.
That's right.
And open alcohol.
That's right.
O peki intelligence BBC beat me na.
I think so. Na me walk grounds. In fact, me could do one upano. Me ne ye mami e kwe free. E koye rounds maybe. Na you call polling station by polling. Out of the 19, we visited by 12. And some I'm then call a year Akuapem was our Methodist church or no polling station. You could run a police presence or be 60. So people come and say police for a doors papa. It's a honor more kind say and NDC Mantiano. Ebe Benny the coalition sheet in 2024.
Okay.
Into now the epicenter of the violence. A course so a abattoir 2024. No. Into no security presence a high and I'm so if sad there in a good. Ya call baby so and for Radiant BB and also a polling station be. To call no say NDC Mountain. I'm a for both NDC Mountain and PP Mountain say where abattoir na moba. On transit is any because Mubi we about to still a munim home we are now for. The Queen and me Sebe, no more fan to cocoon in Sudia, the share Ranty and all.
And this Indian people for
yes, no man a bonk money at the Adiana. If you on a man, no call Methodist on. Ye fee Methodist on the Eja Hawa, honorable Hawa comes in, Miracles Abwaje, and a dark one Newman, and a Samuel Brian Bobbing. Nam busom so bia yo gnum so nam so na omo security na de na pom so police for no a omo wo e ho no be bom na oba nam say wow personally me dream papa na my dream bonny to make us say se bibia ni ano mama ya swate ti ejina wo bobon komo na nche na NDC deputy general secretary Mustafa Bande ene me hu Anthony Nupenu original minister any other I'm name Ranty any be about tie na no we no join we grantee interview or left yes we are grantee be all right because na media for no so doors on p that particular polling station so we all spent about 40 minutes there when you monitor na your grantee interviews many honorable like free a koto honorable da kwan you honorable Hawa Kumsen Samuel Brian Boabeng and Dennis Marcus Abwaje. Into both parties and it was very friendly. Your boy your home come out. If you on a Mustafa Bande NDC team, because some more quite another polling station. Yes, okay. And I'm assuming on about carefree so yeah twice so Akuapem before. Yeah, you see my and be 5 minutes. I went yes chaos as he walk. Baby, I fear not. Now, many on our carefree and kaka. I'm say okay. Saturday do a no office. It's me call office on also twice or call another place. And so don't jai hold on my name and follow up. TFE officer. And 10 honorable by the champion so be kind and some dignitaries. Yet twice we had to regroup and go back to the station. Tia call back. Nibusa say na at the den is all of us as at na chese oma boy brim ye nko for a man no aija. In fact, no abo Hawa Kumsen and that one man they had to go and lock them at a mission house so for the bedroom. And yes, even I saw them who no mission house off on the bedroom. He had to take later the police to bring an armored vehicle. Nam the far through the back door. Nam the call Kaneshi police station. Na commander no call lock on no office. Send a bear intimi ma. And so later in the day, a call hospital. May share situations a normal situation. To be fair, Fad Mustafa Bandi. Let me say, Onya, Nana Yabebo in Como. You know, party with Nancy, no, the brotherness. I'm saying, Mantiano. Oh, call ya, yes, you are calling. O ma be see a chabi there to trust, and also how. I'm saying, yes. Until call your people to order. Nina say, look, we have a responsibility, leadership of both parties. Say, and you guide them. Because one share, youth can be constructive and on bit me destructive. And it depends on the signaler. Before down on or the bema. No castle no sign a chair call. No cranny, we are no frame say we the near see the hard drink. So no book I'm catching say baby I only about because no so ni mo na bo hawa kum semba. So baby I only about ewo. I don't know. They had to transport her to Kaneshi police station. No, Yamin Isimu to go and visit her.
How comes in?
Yes. But fast forward. Miracle said, Tama or no granting interview your call and end within 5 minutes. No. Boys now about almost 30 on Boramu break it through the police security gate. So Mobano. I said one of them. I can say, how comes in our way? Sammi Awuku so way.
Hey, the target also.
Hey, you too. Inti Miracle so no things happen. Ena eja ono so pen or the names or say how number how comes no Sammi Awuku na Miracle so no so way. So no things no or granting interview no mo nim no by face no. Okay. Into say how pen eja no so no say ne honam sisa. Ode ne ho fa journalist phone eno nya ne tididi. It was clearly say a targeted, a special limited operation. Number
for specific
incrophobia. Number and Ukraine, you see, Okoka and Kofonoma Kofa Ayawaso West. Let me tell you, Ayawaso incident was an unfortunate one. But the Ayawaso na democratization of violence, Shasia. We're talking about Chiriponi, Akwetia, Etiwa, and Talensi, Amenfi West. Sa 5 we know, Nina see under NDC. To trust some violent by-elections in Kwa. Only 2 by-elections happen under NDC to trust some NC was Abitifi. We have to prepare more Honorable Brian because it was unopposed. And this one contested. And the Bonohene North, JB Fimu, as so dear no, they didn't contest. Tisa 2 win no muni ballot, there was no violence. Esanena SC Ewo Etiwa Akwetia Chiripone Talensi Amenfi West. Fast forward MPP ba him sa yawa na ewo boys in yim. Ene ehun sunsanso ne kupi wa Ayawaso West wogon. After Ayawaso West wogon, NPP government responded by taking a very far-reaching decision. The NPP government led by Nana Akufo-Addo responded by saying, no, Yente Commission of Inquiry, you should share what happened, me making recommendations into the future. Chaired by Emil Short, former IGP Kwatien Champon, and then you had lawyer Kofi Abuchi, who was secretary to the committee, and a Professor Henrietta, her ladyship, Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, a Supreme Court judge. This committee, a whole recommendations in the Passive Vigilantism and Related Offences Act, Act 999, 2019. Inti, sir, a whole recommendations ni been say all political parties, any cool boys, no,
be dissolving
now. After Ayawaso West Wogon by election, 2 by-elections under President Akufo-Addo. Edwiso and Kumewu. None of it and a violence is here, for the record. So meaning that the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry, no, as soon as any who benefit, no, and who fruit a buy. President Mahama keeps talking about Ayawaso West and Itechima. Me say with what happened at Ablekuma North, I cannot expect President Mahama to talk about the issues of Ayawaso West and Itechima South. Because that high moral ground now, or no climb be sending Crawford were victims, this time around in the full glare of the international community. Terrible. And I had a meeting with a diplomat, High Commissioner Biofi, one of the Western countries.
Yeah.
Because I was like, but how did this happen? Sound like this is not good for your country. I said, look, it's too bad. The scenes we saw as diplomatic community. So meaning that to them, they feel that this government has not acted properly. Because Hawakunsi was unarmed. Oba na manipa 30 corners. So police for them were running away. In act of self-defense, we decided that my used to pepper spray. Nipa 30 also unarmed. In fact, one of them no crasekan. Hey, according to Hawa and no I corner on. Nia tone on your dive here. No crasekan.
Send call the bono croak.
Until if any pepper spray earlier. At least, it disabled some of them. They were clearly going after her. Until we and Ufiwa, I find it very serious. Say, Minianum NDC for no. Say, when you ni bibi papa and can, don't aggravate the situation. But what I know is that NPP will never forget Ablekuma North. And the government owe it as a responsibility. Say, the perpetrators be about to book. The minority leader and the minority caucus, so can in a strongly worded statement to government. Dr. Baumia has also made a very serious call. Said the government must act and bring justice to the victim. And also to ensure that to trust them. They are known. Pictures are known. The people know them. Yeah, boys anymore. A ban is saying you don't restrain your supporters. An eye for an eye, you won't have a country. Let me register my biggest disappointment in the police and the leadership of the police, including the IGP. Because said the stakes were high. The court earlier said that provide security for the declaration of the 3 polling stations. But you got men to supervise 19. And a men are who make sure that they were not armed. Knowing very well that these NDC hooligans and bad boys, they were going to also operate. If the police could not sense they were going to operate, then our intelligence outfit is in danger. And Nunti and at time I take precautions. And that place was a flashpoint.
Okay.
Where it happened, a honor ye burning coalition ship.
Yeah, baby, police who said
to trust and beat me into deploy men who are not armed. When you said the last time I had 2B honor, you had people coming to bang. Into either say na mun obe fo abone so and I say obuapa eye buapa yo.
The
IGP name for. And that is why I'm disappointed. And I believe that this cannot be left to go. I know said there are plans for the NPP to escalate this matter to various quarters to engage them. Now, minim how bekan wuchimo. My amazed at the noisy silence of the National Peace Council.
Okay.
My amazed at the noisy silence of civil society, noisy silence of faith-based leaders and the Christian Council. And Mamon Tanase for MPP Mebun enko yebi ansana fe esi kasa. In as much as ye mrantie kasa no. And so making sure someone with dear to trust them, no, they are properly brought to book.
Right.
Akwetia will not be 19 polling stations.
I want to come back.
The entire constituency. Into meaning that a honor security will be stretched. And the honor, it means that the coverage is bigger than what happened in Ablekuma North. Ti Bonohene ye mu bi no o minor da action ye dwen o minor baby gina now no ye nyare so ye ntiapo. And then if we are buying, you take the peace and stability for granted. And as citizens, no, mad the political parties, don't give them the impression that me more money on supporters home buying. We are buying, we are selective, but for home buying. What you have to know is, yes, I know you are sinking the nation. Into Sammi about Ablekuma North, this is what I know from beginning to end.
Right, yeah, and I want to say MPP vigilante groups and a womb and a mabuna mamenka sa no mo bo party no ho ban ye dissolve ye
menka say menu me ho na ye ni yie mo na ye ne papa mo say ye na ne ye agia to mo at National Peace Council level assign it to it aban so de mraba say dey ye to ye but this for actually say they didn't dissolve their group. Until they didn't dissolve their group, now that means they didn't mean well. For the in a court na sign. Yes, so your man tell me no cleaning yam 2016, your man tell boy to protect our ballot. Ni police, ni soldier. At this year, it jine mo brane at the boy na Akufo-Addo ni MPP. Met me so akase ye ba ben mu no. Ebi ensa timi koma no. Ebi so nsa entimi ankoma no. Nti ebema yaudie esusu ba mranti ni bim. Na so me de fo afidie so e de chopper ama womo. 107.3 sebio Accra Kumasi kwan. There be a accident esi wo so. Now so it doesn't stop us from traveling on that road. Still e go so fast akwan so. Ya make can say e wo mu se yaudie be wo mu. Now so ade a wodo no na wodo. Mumre fie. Mumye sanye ye party bi. Na mochidom. Me wujidie kese se ye koye nim ne entwa yi no ye be ma na twa yi.
Right, why a youth organizer da? Why a national organizer da? Youth commander ye can e wa wo MPP mu.
That's former.
Still na
former youth commander. Se say na e di kanfo.
Ma hu say e mabunu bebre wo MPP mu a o mabamu abu.
Yeah.
Bibi o ho betimi ayede akanya o mu bi wo.
Opa ya share sa na ma dwumadie ni bi ase. Na meboa me nuanom mu di national executives now. My emergency say must spend more time, so I'm going to be doing so to help organize our party and mebu across the country bit by bit. Mojidi kesi so say party no so no eyi franketuni by end of January and also beboa asheshe party adwumani because you see say no o de adwen papa kra kwa unim ni ade koma no ko uni candy for no. So where you be on no ballot so. And onim say is in his own interest. So beboa na niema pa na adwuma pa na koyi. Me obi anim baby am gina. Me I support Dr. Bawumia in this process. However, me a party me. Me mpaye ne say Dr. Bawumia will emerge presidential candidate of the MPP by end of January 2026. Ye koto abaso amogide kese say party for no ebeto ama. Si ekosim konyana party focus okay Dr. Bawumia ye penasem so yemfa nipa foforo kwa me ye party ni me support so nipa no se be na betimi win power mo gide kese se Dr. Bawumia so win a ni nuanom aka no so beba beboa me yetimi ekukuru party no. The reality is that you need a center to rally round. And untina many nipa ni bi enya adwen so I say yes shisha party ni nyema nyina wi anse wo franket
because
because the danger is that you need that center of gravity
party no ase why ye mre enti ye koyi tre wi a tre ne be gina enan ben so
e tre no yi gina na you are not going for election next year. So there's no way a polling station election and ubetimi akoso problems are for 3 years and not for 1 year. But flag bearership adi obeyi because it can for no way chita for into all year reconciliation when you train no reconcile na train aboa am form on your ma reconcile into when here sa nipa no a wono no ebewo at the center because any Bonohene friends Sammi ebia importers and exporters for no more how be one person omni penimu ka say penimu be na person omko odi omko former president ho anade omko former flag bearer ho anade omko national chairman anade omko party headquarters. No, ohia ne ono no be in charge of the policy making decision oba be man penia ti sani pa no mo hwe nanimu an ni sioba. So you need that leader to help you organize around him. And that is how the soul of the MPP is. You cannot organize with no direction. You organize with human beings. And a Franketuni na be no ono so waso die se oboa and leading the reconciliation. And a 77 preduasa. Omo ya terminate your appointment. Unsi ya keke can be a fali suit to defend ya fali say. But there's no strong center leader. That's the leader of the opposition. Or engaging government, or engaging international community, or engaging civil society, or engaging trade, your friend is saying, union, or engage to help fight that cause. You don't have it. MPs, Juma, with our minority leader and the minority caucus. But we have a limit. The international community wants to know who is the opposition leader so they can deal with. Tell them how table idea and what some tell nothing about me kind of state of the nation. Then the opposition leader can also give his real state of the nation.
But who be sad?
I'm say now no. Ukra information. Ehina adeko. Asalam down. Because we call asalam down no. Mini anumbi was almost call election. Thompson say me ni na no betim di omutini omona ya koshim. Former president, on his wedding, a foot on obey the amount. Yeah. But you no, then go person. On a son, or then a destiny shining some. Near Timia Bonichidom,
no lead party.
Well, lead party. And that is where I believe, sir, in the wisdom of the National Council,
top down
the recommendation of the committee now, yet, yes, one financial share if you didn't. One of the reasons in it was that the party in a presidential candidate late. Who person will break it 8? Why you candidate a year to the elections? One of them are resign for party. And on Ukra supporters. Say 50, 100, 200 crowd Ukra supporters. Aside that, you needed to also reconcile with almost so no makawum no machita for. Let's assume it took 4 months of your time. Ever so 3 years reconciliation where we by May. You have June to December. Obibia now to about for the 4th time. 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means Nipa to about 2012. Nipa to about 2016. Or to about 2020. Not to about 2020. So Obibia now to about for the 4th time. That person was seeing Mahama's face on the ballot for the 4th time.
Yeah, me tell you.
Okay. Sani Pano was seeing the face by Umia for the first time. Into your baby name recognition, face recognition.
Yeah.
To a ballot paper no anya Bonohene my day was 2012 me hono man 2016 man 22. Wa brel dem amento man.
Yeah.
It is a concept no enema obi bia ba for the first time na edding. Into what you are up against a known quantity, face recognition, name recognition. Was saying almost 2 years to campaign. Aside that, the global economy too was in a mess. Ye fi COVID aba and kofani su brimom. The whole world, ruling government were losing elections. Aside that, the economic situation was biting in Africa, biting in Ghana, biting globally. And conform some measures government needed to take. Minye ni da sena a NPP for ye die song. Minye ni da sena a idea ye na ye dese sebe ni be touching for a pension seeker. Sebe send ye be touching for bonds na omode akosie se na be ya ombetimi adidi ho kakra menyi ni da se na ya de ye de se banks ni bia na akwa ahokyirem na ye be close ne down because all these added to the hardship. And the biggest victims of sa policy CBI you take here na enye ye desi be take but sebe na akoba sa isanse we needed to save the economy no omo e affect most na ye the middle class and the upper class, and the middle class and the upper class are the core base of the MPP.
That means ombe punishable.
Ombe punishable. Till they will decide that yentimi nkojina ballot paper nechi ensure sono a ye nananom ne ye papanom die giant ni akwa akoto eti osono no tie ne sade a enya nto a enya ntua tie betina ono ya hwemo eminia se nipa na ewo yawo no wo komu a forget about policy, forget about digitalization, forget about the hakeka because we fi yawo ni ahohihia na akoto taba iti sane main now we needed to go through into if one ko you candidates in term now amana competitive went me nyamre to campaign in Ghana today. Some of the villages in Biasa 2024 they say na na contest
107.3.
Yeah.
yes because Bawumia has not been on the ballot. No, we did running mate twice, we did vice president twice, running mate in my ballot paper so vice president on my ballot paper so ukoje paper no ni ehwe nanim the presidential candidate into be anon what paper na swatch for 4 times, you know. If you're up against that person, it's a tall order.
But I'm for so answer more can say easy out. Okay, report no. Na yan hwe de ma party no Lucy ni resolve
General Secretary Aboboso. The party no mo around here thank you to. No me easy no be out. The stakeholders of the party, every region during the thank you to omo tizi a nyama ni na kekacho no omo so agina so e de akobo the road down there and nyama bit. So one of the recommendations that came out of it was that more have an early presidential primaries. I don't want to talk about top down or down up. I don't see it like that. The presidential primaries in our constitution is a stand-alone election. The presidential candidate is not part of the party structure. So
okay.
Polling station executive, you for 4 years. Constituency electoral area coordinator, you for 4 years. Constituency executive, you for 4 years. Regional executive, you for 4 years. National executive, you for 4 years. When your presidential candidate, you for the election ahead. You know who win your president, when win your former presidential candidate to no only term till you bet me you 1 year to election, you bet me you 2 years to election, you bet me you 3 years to election, party be losing election, bet me you the next 6 months. Because your amount term or tenure in our constitution you for a specific task. Your task is to go represent us on the ballot and to win. Ukona mfa Sabre biom na be justify why I am more than some fan could. So ubika top down upper. The reality is that the presidential candidate, just like the parliamentary candidate, yen for 4 year tenure, you for an election. And then in some of the constituencies, ye parliamentary candidate on 8 months to election. So then you can also get top down. I said koka tenure and down top as count. But yen for specific task. Masa wenya akradie no waka se utinye. Ukwa try. A far unemu and far wasaba abetena bench. Sana ye partner it. But you see, every time and season, any decisions that you have to make, there could be times that you can elect your presidential candidate 16 months to the general election, 10 months to general election, 2 years to general election, and there are times that 3 years to. Why? Because it's all shiny diunya. You need enough time to cover. Let me give you an example. And now, Dr. Bamia call some person me choosing me West well. Bronobi ewa Ablekuma North. Ye call your name mama nane carefree call one of the communities Bronobi a share inside the pa and I am confuni be prior a kosrawa. Area of 40 sana Dr. Bawumia abahon. Because a rough lungu but a densely populated.
What me a fabe urasa gato no.
Nija omkase fe just as a brownie nano. Just say when up to Dr. Bawumia sa okwa kosra. Omo ho aka no. Na my area fo ni na begu fie na okwa akosra
nipa no.
Ye fie ono mrantie ni bi ne mmaba ni bi echa na echa ne nsem ne ade. Ma we kan asem bi. And I'm at challenge and I'm at 2028.
What challenge?
Na me catch or not somebody saying. No mo bono it say omo di na chia na ne car no ebo say they were excited say presidential candidate in a bar area. I give you an example. If the candidate ye yin ntem a na ka say crache. Say no time a or ba betina office bi mo. Tisim na okọ brono ni bi ene omo engage eno anyi okọ hwe ball ewo yansi mo the way the youth na ewo eho no we site se no aba na ba betena ni table ne nchen ene na hwe ball masa politics not done it. And this generation I think say any policies are here.
Okay,
me the MPP going into 2028 and your message must be clear. We also have to think security.
Okay.
Because on crofo no I di wachi no. So when ya regime say abana okwa akoto no mo betimi abo ho ban a
umpi kura
nkoto. And on fa ne kra enkogura to prayer. Until you need enough time to plan, to strategize, to execute and deliver victory.
Album Ben yemfanye presidential primaries no because polling station album no proposals na eba ni bi say yen ade ni pamienu
your conference these decisions your conference memoranda na conference after conference aye somebody proposals in ade na tomorrow and then we can proceed from there.
Right, so much tum na 31st January yeah
31st January there it's not changing because the date is not fixed by National Delegate Conference. Article 13 of the MPP's constitution or say so be franketuni no and no a national council ejuma national council a yemebi almost selected the date, the time and at the venue.
The 31st and the
because the national council na ejuma this is a BBSC for national council to reconsider the decision but say a whole incommodity national council in its mind were fixing the date for the presidential primaries. Now, delegate conference looking at amendment.
Okay.
And the highest decision making body. In that conference, party can announce to also delegate conference, say date and national council so usher for this and that in. About parliamentary and your national council ejuma.
Okay.
And your NEC, National Executive Committee, and a fixed years your date. And the times for parliamentary primaries.
I'm on for raise concern say delegates na eto aba no our polling stations no omusa entinke be ya omo add on omo fa bi enka ho ma hu say limited expansion bi aba we obi a grassroots no eda wakoma so yie pa am for so mumie mu mo say na be obi a betumenya say na ye koto aba ono so hu say make party no.
Okay. One of the recommendations committee na constitutional amendment in make here. Say idea we should work towards it progressively.
Okay.
Say no opposition. And you be all shouting, let the blood flow, be a no crack cutting wood, the paper blood. So the blood need flow out. Okay, so let the blood flow. Who's as a cutting wood, the paper mujana bar on Unibi. Unia could be able full scale. Opposition. A buying or not one a ruthless. Any expansion now, obey me a tonkrophobic go party. They will help you decide candidate for you at the parliamentary and presidential.
Candidate only prudent.
Only prudent. Obey me a candidate amount because a numbers game.
Okay.
The selection of a presidential candidate over 210,000 people is the biggest number across the world. NPP delegate system. I think that the delegate system no yardin say eba say siketuani sikedie no a nkofo akizuom. However, at the presidential level, obi bia no otimi ma even more than 400 Ghana. Yes, near in 2023. No, even 400 cedis and 500 cedis. Work the calculation. You cannot tell me that 400 cedis is enough. I did to be a drink. baby Sika Paul and one was the super delegate. And on a constituency chairman for PE, a year regional executives PE, a year members of parliament, national council members, NEC members, sa level no elite group no. And no between me to 20,000, between to 30,000. And no say a year for. It is a elite group no any who be who go through vetting, na go through scrutiny near don't nam at the ama sa 210,000 people who say call no one decide who fit. First, na ewo ho. It's a party no emre dania no wa dani bi no. Party in curing that no se so yi sa elite division of these voters no if you no. So na be the 210,000 plus no can take it. So if at the polling station, you add 2 more people. If at the electoral area, you add 4 more people. If at the your friend is saying constituency level, you add 4 more people. You the regional, you the big count, you the former MMDC say be count, you the some few other groups are. This a bit me a structured expansion. That one may be ano party now who they say Gina Brane. Abibi war party in Sema say no you bet me I ensure said the safety of our electoral college. No. Certain you to us 1 man 1 voter. Wait, but nowhere in the world a political party will be able to be in the selection of its leader. Ghana currently over 35 million.
Yeah.
Omo represent 276. 35 million. But 276. Inti patapapio to currently dem run a row. Mesre busuanfo ne party for say yen hwe ne a yi your friend is recommendations na dey ampen for dia bay ni nya botre na yen go through the expansion gradually and maybe beba in 4 years in 8 years the party candidates have failed here why den nti yemie mu na ebi amet but say nkofo we agro mu DNDC for yi me constituency won betima manipa be 1000 abeka ho afi 1000 afi koto aba primaries nipa no once we register our party mu yi ni fi mu enye yi mo ba be decide who should be the parliamentary candidate, who should be the presidential. E bia na game so anom so and this 4 year be in 2016 e bia mu sa mo ni bo mo so no MPP win 169
almost like close here
to mu say o yon kwa bodwo say e hia mo asensu nti no afi o mo sa close bia no mo reduce the number because they realize that o mo call by that populist decision no e proud to say emre bi beba party phone na be ya kono ayom de so be abetu by emre na iwom now. Let's go with the limited for now. Near Union State.
19th July, National Delegates Conference. Expectations?
Well, I hope and pray, Bibiabe Jojo, MCD over 52, 53 amendment proposals that will be tabled. One of it, many of my agency reduce the youth organizer age, from 39 to 35. And they're hard.
Why?
Because Jack, or the 39 and below in the year. We nye UN charter na nye AU charter a political party assembly eka onipa no tim so gina onu tim se bemeni we di 39 obetimi aboa mobilization ni ade na so we di 39 no say dem run for front say 35 once the banner right from 18 to 39 it's fair the person can be a good youth leader. I don't think if it's not broken you don't fix it because some of my youth organizers and deputy are 39 38 okay, can't quote 40, but a Juma warrior, a Juma eswani. I also think that we should select also more young people into the various additions. So they can help attract these Gen Zs. I say your name be one of my system. I know they're masem. And as I said, some of us are going to support these national officers and the leadership of the party in the reorganization. Jumana Yemubi Yeboa in 2016. Yeah. They said there is a parliament there. Me change Jumani to 2. Now it's my party for to help. Provided
say leadership no so be ma kwan.
Yes. Na yenu so why Juma to make sure say. Okay, me next door Akuapem South here often. To say no. You hear Akuapem North no. Na me san so eboa o mo Akuapem South a shows how mo to party no niema efa. And me I'm very positive about 2028. Something within me tells me say yipia kakra bia Yakupon beton nhyranso aguso. Amen. Because say na ya maybe I make can with the book of Zechariah chapter 4 verse 9 or says Zerubbabel won sana odi ahye dan ase no what the sansa no be meaning says here the sansa you didn't say be shasi e sansa na ye de shasi na ye adwumaden na adwumasono a esiye and then oko even Holy Book of Quran mo chapter 13 verse 11 or say no kre ala wo hui on sesa nipa ne hyebre je nipa ne tu anamon so be sesa ne hyebre so meaning say ala kraji tum say nipa ne tu anamon bi no so ato nhyan so egu so na nipa ne timi asesa ne hyebre.
Why Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia yemra national issues?
I mean, I just think that he was unlucky in 2024. I'm confident here, Buana, he will make it in 2028. Sanam GDH. And again, Osha Ghana back political consistency is key. Tena mekano. Will be anu watu about for the fourth time. No Mahama for the fourth time. NDC will introduce a new candidate in 2028. In NPP, we have a choice whether any NDC now introduce a new candidate. And if panage ballot paper na ni na fresh to them. And now say we want a choice on political consistency say no
one market
way. Commissioning of school be no see wo me constituency. E wo Accra biase. Frɛ wo aboabo. Mkoye no mo ba na ombe commission. Say be mo mtimemufo no kromafo. Ebi ba mo she ba me t-shirt. One of them na mbusa said na ade ba be obi frantama ebi she obi also atade ode da na e ba o t-shirt na she na mse na the hassle there say nye politics also na abo ye mu bi ne de na ye woni o some besa de na banti no ye she de atwen no ne aboa no so ndani pa no o was t-shirt ni bi de da nti ye bi anke 100 t-shirt na ba ye for that place wa say bi abe obi de da nti so capti the face no we hu and the way the human mind works no first of all ubenya say they have to hear the name, secondly they have to see the face, thirdly they have to hear the message. And need to know bit me hu asa one Bonohene no matudi AsaasePa cratch chairman una ya uboja no ja ka wasem no nti we put the name to the face and do wa link it to AsaasePa ne niema oka to the neighbor putupum na so nim nanim until ni dinda nti obobusa say ha nti so nipa na ye ntoma no so ye friend saying it happens. Me never make a practical. Because me I'm a grassroots person to mean how the mentality works. Into my sense is that apart from Dr. Bawumia going to be a fine president when elected and the institutional memory, look, the policies of President Akufo-Addo, no bet me defending you on any boss yes 8 years now, Dr. Bawumia. And we are going to go on the record of President Akufo-Addo in 2028. Because President Akufo record no, any other call about in 2016. So what I say? Say Akufo be a leap, or be a free maternal care, or be a NHI, or be a captation grant, or be a school feeding program, or be a mass transit, or be a mass cocoa spraying, free maternal care. Na and only a jina so car say unya obey and ye catch any away bida, because 9 people are bida. 10 people the board the road the call. In 2028, you better say you can't say the 1D1 ever buy. You buy any one buy moment me and to us. Nema PA shall say free SHS. You the buy say you the buy. Neon on any boss say kwe eye kofa buy. Dr. Boy, nobody can defend that record. And you be wa buying more than him. Again, you free be the element of surprise. Nia NDC beka for Dr. Bawumia na omo kan in 2024. It's nothing new. Sani Edi Mahama. Ye kaso you incompetent in 2016. Ye de bron biem in 2020. 2024 kakwa Ghana for no interested. And nothing they want they nothing surprised them. Ko nani ye obeka for Mahama hono. Waka. They say Bawumia de no nia obeka just say something new. Then this is for attacks, sponsored attacks for 2024. There will be nothing new for them to say. So if I believe, as I said, me Mahama better me say me supported Dr. Bawumia. But obi wa not been so different. But sana kebina me kebia me mote. And when you answer supported Dr. Bawumia, you are going to attack obi or supported Ken. obi or supported Brian, obi or supported Boache Jakon, obi or supported Adeni Momone Jogat. No. Essence we are sign people are this na and some do ma ho odemba near the supporting ya wedding kunim. Essence sabe enya politics and could be ntimi di Dr. Baumi atem, could be ntimi di Ken atem, could be ntimi di Brian atem, could be ntimi di mpenifo eka ho. Na MPP for ya pay na ma ye too much. MPP internal primaries. It is a training grounds. Kobo match and a house kobo match. But we na ma foko share opponent na fi ukra injury list. I feed ye. Mama my ideas nenko. Sell your candidate why it should be him. Mema be catch on nienti say ye ba umia. Obi also be ba na dwene ye different. And nienti ogidi say ye nipa foforo. We disagree to agree. But what we should agree on is non-negotiable. It's an MPP victory in 2028.
Okay.
That's right.
May I see? Me share few national issues. So time me aware pa na yenko. I'm assuming you na Ghana for the 2 ma NDC aban. Do you still believe say still na aban no enjoy goodwill?
I think they are, but it's going down. Goodwill not that they had in January. No, everyone say 100%. Now I think the goodwill no. About 50 call. You see, o promise nipa and say none we boy don't buy our better so. And I keep saying, we betting tax will be in Charlotte and benefiting.
Yeah.
We levy means any mumu be a yentime. O to kanye mo e affect me because we be here kania. O to nsuo bo mo e affect me. Essence will be here nsuo. Say no so san de another levy buy they can fuel ho. Fuel no be no betima kasa o te ha on commute from place to place.
Yeah,
cascading effect. Obe for trotro and a walk Accra be before negum. Trotro driver ne car owner no onye adwuma or Red Cross and as a charity organization. So no e kana buy the piano no ono so will pass it on to you. It is so clearly no who a problem. Again, a buy ways now the cement ball. First day 83 cities. And run MPP fee by mo. Say and 120, 130. You been a back catcher. Say a buy we no baby only yejina no. Yejina ekonano. Me, I think this government has been insincere. And they ye catch on said dollar ya dia na mason a minute. Ade mumi ade say no. San economy natural. IMF abes suppose say why was spending so much money. Over $1.5 billion or more in trying to artificially intervene. And up although your businessman up or dollar crack or cranium, maunya, or bank na be ball, theatrics, cobra next week, Tuesday, this, that, a format, settings and qua. Because a banning your man away and do artificial. The gold that we left for the government, over 31 tons of gold, no, one by number account and do 2. Your foreign exchange, your foreign reserves, sika ye jai sene be a ahochire mo betimi a de yakwa anim no ene no swate. So clearly no mo gidie kese NPP ye niam ye ne ebo ho da ru year, we can make a compelling case for our comeback.
Right, mama call Akuapem North na ye nim komo. So far interventions been why year obeye MP me say obeye MP no we adwuma bebre e wo so far.
By within the last 7 months, say schools, renovation, and schools are messes. 7 in various places. Be a renovation, be a brand new schools, be a hospital. Some renovating, any other donations to some of the hospitals, any schools, no more frano, any more about the education sector. Now, my percent also no my constituency about 38% of them are rural. I won't cross. I don't know any more than you queer. Tinam de be a friend Ufie market. It's also Abreom and the Ufie market. The target is that Bosumi Biano. The last Saturday of every month, me as a member of parliament, we provided tracks. Emma Efa Ekuafo no ni omo no ban ni na afi nkrasi ni na na dey about the center of the constituency amanokrom obi bia ope eye no ban ato no full staff from banching to toes any ade na no benya no for full price na ye sha say match ending that was a maiden edition nipa eba be di dwakwa was around 500 people The next March, April, nipa baby di dwa now we are around 2,000 people from across. In fact, more time of year in crime,
because the Jana no boy for
yeah, and more part of Eastern region near the Eba. Then May be dija ekoya according to estimate ni data no we're around 4,500 to 5,000 people. June omo ba na say be di edwa we're around 8,000 people.
Them say a pija
every month and you see thousands of them traffic so bao. So we are considering say be a economy a bigger park because I must say traffic about the day I hear you Ufi market. If you move me by as early as 5 a.m. no be dio muja no more de call. More Madina market, Ayawaso market near Denton to be fan P no more their best supply more more crooked.
But yen to also say normal market be run is
me pese be every day. And I'm in Pesebe every weekend because me saw another popular market that I need to protect. That's Ayawaso market.
Okay.
Ayawaso market is very popular in my constituency. Bosha Michelle was not to collapse Ayawaso market. Okay. To give the farmers and the traders extra income. Saying the last Saturday of every month, no, we know to sword there oba ne wa prefi farm no. Interestingly, some people from other parts of the country didn't hear about. Be more the mekoni bienu bini me honom de ba. Ibut mi swa nam ni ade ade so sometimes oti ne water ni ade so de ba be beton. So it's going well.
Sustainability, you better sustaining.
Well, it's a good question. To say the good news is that say corporate Ghana for ne biswa bahonom. I've seen insurance companies, beverage companies also sponsor be. You say some of the telecommunication giants. Even said the last time MTN for our bomb canopy. So discussions are ongoing. For the last 5 editions, March, April, May, June. The last 4 editions in the me as member of parliament Maswa Hokanina, but made me my year for up to the end of the year. We sure say be do or no. Nyakoponim ne ma for bebem so that I can still support my because we don't charge them anything.
Free.
Yeah, in charge your farmers in BBR and no more traders or something. You created the market for them, canopies, music. And now the Ghana so ma yes I set up a kids playground. Bouncy castle near the internet house and Mofano so on my minimum digger, no more so one would agro. And let me thank some of the beverage industry. Casapreco say they've been very good sponsor with water and the other.
So if you market near promise how the milk Akuapem North for one
promise I'm the mouth. And I told
and then the triggers are
I been who said Obama constituency post harvest losses.
Okay.
What do you na aswe because the roads no were bad. No na the name na itimi chewe fumu ho na nto de beba no na say yento. But this time around, you say, Obuana Juana, MP, end of the month, MP Beboa Mwenya Troca.
What about between
Amano? Apart from somebody be quite also market, this new market may create a monochrome is to help Omomufi and Krani other places because Adoson was the lower hill of the constituency, Okoko Fredia. And then the upper hill on the a monochrome. A monochrome would be Momrana ye, a Suketo in Numagari.
Okay.
A little river that can bath itself. And it's a beautiful little city. And officially, it's Akuapem North, a rare winter. The weather now now very cold. We be able to far when my bones say Uncle Fosh hood because weather no and you more crowd here. But it's also a unique constituency. Bonohene, that's the only constituency in Ghana. You have 87 basic schools.
87.
There were 3 special needs schools. School for the deaf, school for the blind, and a school for the deaf technical school. Not just I am 90. 87 plus these 3 special needs schools. Now I am 90. And there's 10 senior high schools. Now I am 100. And you have 2 tertiary institutions, 102. Massa. So boys your boy. I thought the beer twins say boys are bread. And your barrier brewajo. Nanso ya show mo boy there. Omo temase na mesmeti omase. And then we have a very beautiful festival called Ojra Festival. I do Ojra. I attract sometimes 30,000 people to the mountains. Adia baako asese say me pire ne ho won ye bambosem
security
because it do dwana ana hadwen kaka tibene na nanom so so guso account how e be bom mabu ne ho ban ne ade na afi so no me man tell me mintu say weather ne ka ho a weather ne nti ama uja frama nom de form onum kom mu no hame
hona ne afra ba bi bu nsam jam ana ne afra say
atemuda mu no ya kutum say to da bia hadwen ti my launch campaign me ne an NGO bi Health Alliance then Ghana. Yeah, launch an initiative to fight drug abuse.
Okay.
Because my catch on some di weather nechi dia. One way dia. Onche. Or weather no. To say weather no chill. No mono the things and on the bet weather no yeah no. But no.
Because all is a guma weather into
hame and drug abuse is one of the things that I'm really fighting against there. And then also some incidents of LGBTQ.
Akuapem North
because of the schools. And also you are there many head teachers next year you don't come. By and large, we did the cases with the education center and almost every year the students in about parliament.
Okay.
From the schools. From Miguso. Enough from now so munim say MP the opposition MP there. Now so they all done 7 years more mono. And your crown and Migusoni omo juma.
Right, ebeda say na me nyo kese on fa nkodru ba bia opeso dru ewo abrabom. What presidential ambition?
They say them here mrashi bridge. Okay. Bring ponto kwa na ekoso me nyandu bi.
Okay.
Me sure say me ho kra be so now. Till they do na bia Bonohene enya kakra on nsem a obi kan na say everybody dey chop for work side. Tata na bia Bonohene mu aidu. Oni Kofi Heme mo production team. So Jack enya pudu obi kakra on to the
Virginia Fempion.
Virginia Fempion. As I say no call VSM. But on a more serious note, I believe say the problem of the MPP too sometimes I think is that you won't say we no wa ben ye mo no mom no food ya no
ye pejano
because sometimes no obo no say ade okoi emfa
so chinchina
isanse when nipa ba ku mi no aka chen so you look presidential oba your party no ma omo look presidential do so pie but me say omo bu mu ma ben ahoma no ni aboa no makwa akogye me no for the benefit of all of us in the party.
Okay.
And yes, I know. I say it's a party that every day there's a contest because of ambition, and ambition too should be guided. So now make and certain ni na nyepe. Nyema sometimes chair position is that. Omo mama ben ni aboa. I'm not saying it should be one person. If any pa ba ku mienu miensa ni epiam omakwa akopre. Therefore be you na fe omasa akabo. The koye choka 7, 8, 10
and the matem DNA po twa ne kasa bebre
tie be wie nzi e be wie na ye come na injury list no ne wa oni bebre e bi so ye wadamfo e bi so ye wonamfo sorry but they only be in kasa say wa de agua ye koi e bi mo ho no
wa onim se
emfa e ana
the party leadership no do say eye kabi mami kabi amayoku my party mpaying for sunim say asuma si we ya wo bayi ade no emfa obe waste time wo beto abo agu park na so omutimi stop here
to da bia na me gidi say kasa no ya say ne bi mo kasa look ye hihye adwuma yi a timi kasa asuma si wo no e bia ko position we mu wo party mu a betimi aboa ye mo anakose wo kose ha wo mi mpia anako ha it's a national officers election. Some of the candidates that have come to me board man could beat me a boy in holding a region. Because Abano, your turn of constituency supervised by the regions. But your good materials in the national, the regions becomes weaker.
107.3.
The constituencies become, that is my worry. By NDC here, the regional chairman is a former MP. Ashimo.
No.
The regional secretary is a former MP, Tetechai. Yes, we had the idea, Galacticos, Real Madrid. Ubiajidi say Jack. Ono no she go ni bi ebeboa. Isan say ni dimba score line so. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. To, na go dey. Ya better say.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe.